All right, let's take a look at these first four problems on practice test one here in Trig. Okay, so we have this basically equation that we need to solve and figure out what n's value is. So starting off, we'll distribute through. 2 times 3n is 6n. 2 times that 1 will be minus 2. Now, you have to distribute this negative sign through. Really, there's a negative 1 right here. Negative 1 times 3n is negative 3n. Negative 1 times that negative 1 is positive 1. Over here, we distribute the 2 through, gives us 4n. 2 through to there gives us 10. Now, let's put together before we start moving things. So on the left side of the equal, so here's the equal. On the left side, we have 6n, take away 3n. That's 3n. And then we have a minus 2 plus 1, that's subtract 1. Over here, I have 4n plus 10. Now, I just need to get all variables on one side, all numbers on the other. It doesn't matter who you move. I always take care of the variables first. I move the variables first, and I always decide to move the smaller variable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 3n from both sides of the equation. This will give me a 0 here. 0 and a negative 1 is negative 1. Over here, I'll have a single n plus the number 10. Now, what I need to do is I need to move this 10 to get over there. To do that, I'm going to get it off this side by subtracting 10, but whatever I do to one side, we must do to the other. So on the left of the equal, negative 1 minus 10 is negative 11. The n's by itself, we find out, n's value to make this true has to be negative 11. Negative 11 plugged into that n value will make that equation true. Problem 2. Well, we just distribute the 5 through, and then we'll distribute the 6 through. So that'll be 15n minus 10 equals 6 times 2n is 12n plus 30. Now, again, doesn't matter who you really move as long as you get the variable on one side and the number on the other. I'm going to go ahead and move the variable first, and I'm going to move the smaller variable. That's what I like to do. I don't care whether it moves to the left side of the equal or the right side. Gives me 3n minus 10. That's a big 0 plus 30 is 30. Now I need to move this minus 10 over, so I'm going to add 10 to both sides. That gives me 3n equals 40. So now what do I do to get rid of multiplying by 3? Because you're trying to isolate n. N's who you're trying to get by itself. To undo multiplying, we divide. So I divide by 3. 3 goes into 40 13 and a third times. Okay, because I know 3 times 13 is 39. That's one short. So then I have a third left over. As a decimal, you'll notice it's 13.3 repeating. All right, let's look at problem 3. I'm going to distribute through here the 5. Then we'll distribute the negative sign through, and then distribute the 6 through. So 5 through is 5x. 5 times the 2 is 10. Distribute the negative sign. That 3x will turn to negative 3x. The minus 7 will turn to positive 7. 6 distributed through, negative 12x. 6 times 4, 24. Now I'm going to clean up the left before I start moving anything. 5x minus 3x, 2x. Lose 10, gain 7. You've lost 3. Oops. I don't know how that was going to be a negative sign. Negative 12x plus 24. I want to move the variable over. Who's the smaller variable? Well, I'm going to move the 12x over. That's what I'm going to do. That's going to give me 14x. Take away 3 equals, that goes away. 0 plus 24 is 24. Now move my number over. Get the 3 over on this side. So I have 14x. That goes away, is 27. I now get rid of multiplying by 14 as the final step. That goes in one whole time with 13 out of 14 left over. So 1 and 13 14. So you can do the division. I do not know the 13 14ths off the top of my head. Sorry. But 1 and 13/14 is the answer that will make, if we plug that into x up top of number 3, it'll make that equation true. Nothing else will. And here for our final problem, we're going to do as typical, distribute through. Distribute the 5 through, distribute the 2 through, and then get all variables on one side, all numbers on the other. So we're going to get 35x. 5 times 12 is 60. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times the 5 is 10. Put together on the left side, 35x and 6x is what? 41x's. Lose 60, gain 10, you've lost 50. Now let's move this smaller variable over. That's what I like to do. So I'm going to subtract 7x from both sides. 41 minus 7x gives you what? 34x minus 50 equals -6, because that goes away. Remember, you got to pay attention to the sign that's in front. That's a -6. I'm now going to move the 50 over by add 50. 34x, that goes away. That is 44. Now we divide by 34 to get x by itself. That goes in 1 with 10 left over out of the 34, which I know is, I can cut each of those in half, can be divided by 2. I get 1 and 5/17. Whatever the decimal is for that is perfectly fine. Okay, there's the first 4 for you.